It's Friday night in Phoenix, and you're listening to the Absolute Geek Podcast, the only podcast that is not too afraid to admit that we would go down on Catwoman, even if Batman wouldn't. My name is Matt. What's going on, guys and gals over there in the internet lands? I'm so excited to be back with you for another week of the Absolute Geek Podcast. Look, we got a huge show for you tonight. Lots of stuff going on. Hopefully going to have some special guests stopping by. That's why the setup's a little bit different this week, because I haven't quite perfected the new setup yet for when I have multiple people on the podcast, but hopefully we have a couple guests stopping by tonight to talk to you about Batman Reptilian. Super looking forward to that. By special request, hopefully Corbin's going to be here to talk that, because, you know, the fans want to know what Corbin has to say about Batman Reptilian. And goddamn it, I do too, quite frankly. So yeah. So hopefully we got that. I know we got Istvan stopping by to talk about Batman Reptilian also, and give us a little sneak peek on what he thinks the hot books next week are going to be at comic shops, so you can get out there and pick those books up. Be ready to go next Tuesday and Wednesday when those hot new books hit the shelves. So you just be like, give me that, 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 give me that. Give me a little bit of everything. So you are special, Solo. Welcome, Solo. Thank you for stopping in, my brother. What makes you think you wouldn't be special? Huh? You're the Solo Wookiee, the best beard in the business. Let me tell you what. Chad says the only finest book that's dropped this week. Oh, yeah, the Batman Reptilian. Look, we're going to get into it, because I don't know. I read it. I picked it up on Chad here's recommendation. I read it. I don't know. We'll get there, though. We'll get to Batman Reptilian a little bit. But what I'm going to start this week is, normally I save reviews for last. But this week, since I've got Ish coming in and hopefully Corbin and some people to talk about this, I'm going to start off this week with a little review of Fast 9. So let me get this. I'm going to share my screen here. There we go. There we go. Fast 9. So I went back to the theaters last night. That's right. Matt returned to the matinee. I've been there since the big scary has happened, but you know, this is the first time I went to the movies, and it was actually somewhat packed. It was more than 10 people in the theater. The popcorn was flowing. The drinks were pouring. The candy was whatever. The nachos were crunching. Whatever stupid analogy you want to make about going to the movie. But went back to the theaters, enjoyed myself. It was a good time. It was nice to be back watching a movie amongst a crowd. Here in Arizona, they've pretty much relaxed the rules with the big scary, so you don't have to wear masks if you're fully vaccinated, yada, yada, yada. So, went and saw Fast 9. All right. If you're looking forward to Fast 9, I'm sorry. I'm just going to put it that way. Look, Fast 9 returned us to the world of the Fast and the Furious. We caught up once again with Dominic Toretto and his family and a cast of characters, and to see what they're up to today. This movie starred John Cena. The plot of it is you get a little bit more backstory into the Torettos. You get to see a little bit, 9 movies later, you get to see the events that took place that caused Dominic Toretto to get arrested. And they talk about how he beat a dude with a wrench in the first movie. So you get to see his dad die in a flashback series, sequence. You get to see a lot of stuff that's already set up about this movie and in previous ones play out in this one. It follows the story that John Cena is Dominic Toretto's brother, and he, his whole, he's trying to, I don't know, it's so convoluted. So he plays Jacob Toretto. He's trying to capture this device that's going to allow him to hack the world to become the biggest superpower he wants to himself. You don't really know who the bad guy in this movie is. It's all kind of just all over the place. It's a lot of all over the place. But, this series goes to space. They hook a Fiero up and shoot it into space. And this movie is just, it's all over the place, man. There's a lot of times in this movie where I stopped and I was like, I'm done here. I think I'm done here. And then I'm like, you know what? So many years, 9 movies later, there's only 2 left. You got to see it to the finish, right? And I think that's what I got to do. I got to see it to the finish because, again, 2 movies left. I've already dedicated all of this time into this movie, into this franchise. I might as well keep going. Yes, I'm sure, Patrick, good to see you, my brother. I'm sure Vin Diesel does smell better than Brad Pitt. I like to think that Vin Diesel smells like motor oil, sandalwood, and just gold. I don't know. You know, I'm going to say he smells like, he's always grilling, so I'm going to say he smells like grilled chicken, sandalwood, and motor oil. I think that's the Vin Diesel smell right there. What do you guys think? But good to see everyone in the chat tonight. Solo, thanks for coming, Chad. What's up, brother? Mrs. The Hun, good to see you as always. Aaron, great to see you, even though you're right behind me. Patrick, thanks for stopping by, brother. It's going to be a good show, but hopefully. But yeah, Fast and Furious 9, I mean, where do they go from here? They've pretty much gone everywhere. I'm trying to do this as spoiler-free as I can because I know there's a lot of people that are looking forward to this because it's that big blockbuster movie to get you back to the theaters. It's that movie that they're pushing to get you from your couch, from the safety of your home, to face the big scary and go to the theaters again and return to commerce and go to the theaters. And I don't know if this is the movie. I think Black Widow will be that movie. Not sure this is that movie. I mean, if you like, you know, ridiculous storylines, Looney Tune physics, fast cars, ridiculous stunts, fight scenes that make you scratch your head and go, that would kill a human, then this is the movie for you. Definitely was not my favorite movie of the Fast franchise. Wasn't. It might have been the worst. Let's be honest. It could have very, very, very well been the worst. And I like Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift is a good guilty pleasure for me. I know that's going to be the one that people are like, Tokyo Drift sucked. But to me, it's a guilty pleasure. I think these two right here are tied like 1 and 2. This and Tokyo Drift are definitely tied 1 and 2 for worst Fast movies. But I just... Yeah, the plane isn't the same as every other one. Yes, Fast 5 is by far the best one in the franchise. I thought 6 was good too. 6, 7, and I mean, even 8 was a little outlandish too. I mean, I think once the whole Paul Walker did so much for this franchise. And once they lost him, this franchise tanked, man. But I got to keep going. I got to keep going. It's just stupid, cheesy popcorn action, man. And it's a lot of fun. It's all about family at the end of the day, right? Fast cars and family, right? That's what Fast and the Furious is built on. Fast cars and family. And like I said, I don't know. Look, the plot is you have Jacob Toretto, who is the brother of Dominic and Mia Toretto, who in the past Dominic blames for him killing his father in a race car stunt. You find out that wasn't the case. He's trying to steal this weapon that he's got to launch into hack a satellite in space that'll give him the power over everyone in the world. He'll be the most powerful man in the world, own every superpower. And so they have to try to stop him, and they shoot 2 people into space in a Fiero with a rocket to the back of it, for God's sakes, to take out a satellite. It's just, you don't know. And then they have Charlize Theron Cypher, if you remember the last movie, where she kind of like puppet mastered Dominic Toretto and going against his own team, and she's in this, and you can't really decipher who the bad guy is in this. It's just, I don't know. I just, I'm going to give this movie a D-. So there you go. There's my review of Fast and the Furious Fast 9. It's a jumbled mess, just like this review. So what are you going to do? Am I right? So, all right, we're going to move on here to geek news. A little bit geek news this week. Mrs. Hunt, it's hard to admit that they've gone downhill since Paul Walker's passed. He was literally the worst actor ever. Of course, good acting is exactly required for these. I disagree. I thought he was a fantastic actor for these movies. Like, I don't know. Where do they go? So they got to try to get more outlandish and more outlandish and more outlandish to keep driving this story, and they got to keep, like, upping themselves. But when a car is driving across the bridge that's literally falling down but somehow still makes it across, or he hits this bridge that's already been taken out and somehow he jams the wire in the car wheel so it like swings him around onto a cliff, it's Looney Tunes. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous is what it is. But let's go ahead and get into a little bit of geek news this week, guys. We're going to start with the Warren Ellis stuff. Like, if you remember this time last year, Warren Ellis basically got Me Too'd. It came out that he was grooming and basically, like I said, grooming women to be his proteges in exchange for sex. And people were getting hyped this week when they heard that his unfinished book, Fell, was getting released from Image Comics. So that kind of brought this whole Warren Ellis Me Too grooming thing back to light, back to the forefront here. So Image Comics stepped forward and they were taking some heat because, you know, the accusers were coming out saying, how can you do this? You know, how can you give this man that respect? How can you bring him back into the forefront of comics after everything that's come out and everything that's been done? And look, I'm a firm believer in innocent until proven guilty. And all these accusers and stuff, I respect them and I respect what they've gone through, but we do still live in a country where you got to give people their due process, and that, you know, no matter what you're entitled to that due process. So I don't think you can jump the gun and try somebody in a court of public opinion. You got to kind of let the process take out. Now, he has almost basically admitted his actions because he's kind of come out and said, you know, look, I would love to start a dialogue with these people. I want to start a conversation. I want to get this out in the open. I want to change my actions and not erase the past, but move forward and be a champion in the future and not be a part of the problem. And so he has kind of admitted, and he's kind of apologized in ways to everyone who's hurt, even though he hasn't done it by name. This and the other thing. But so Image Comics kind of came out and took their stance on it once the news hit that Fell was coming back. And they said, our statement on Warren Ellis, this week's Fell announcement was neither planned nor vetted and was in fact premature. While finishing Warren Ellis's and Ben Temple-Smith's Fell is something we've been looking forward to for years, Image Comics will not be working with Ellis on anything further until he has made amends to the satisfaction of all involved. It is our sincere hope that the conversations that are beginning now will result in a positive change for everyone. So there you go. You got Image Comics taking a stand against the Warren Ellis situation, and all this stuff is still premature. We don't know a lot of it, of what's going on, other than what's already been put out in front of us. But if you were looking forward to Fell, sorry, but it looks like Image has put the kibosh on that. That's going back on the shelf probably for another 13 years. And who knows if that series will ever be finished or see the light of day. But there you go. Image is kind of distancing themselves even further from Warren Ellis, which I can't say that I blame them, right? Moving on, we got Miles Morales news. We got with the 10-year anniversary. It's hard to believe. I know 10 years of Miles Morales is upon us. I believe it's issue 30 kicks off the 10-year anniversary of Miles Morales. We're going to see Sarah Pacelli returning to the character to write some stuff for their big extravaganza that they've got planned for this issue. The 10th anniversary of Miles Morales, 10 years, and he's getting a new costume. And this kind of plays into some other things Miles Morales related, but he's getting a new costume, and this new costume kind of goes back to almost, you get very Spider-Man Homecoming vibes from this, very homemade vibes from this costume. And it still keeps that red and black, but it's more of like a red and black tracksuit. He's got the all-black mask with the red eyes. He's got the matching sneakers. So it gives you kind of that Edge of Spider-Verse, but Into the Spider-Verse / Spider-Man Homecoming vibes with Miles Morales. And also sticking with that 10 years of Miles Morales, it's also the anniversary of Captain America. So we got some Captain America homage covers that are going to be coming next month for certain books. And we got our first look at the Captain America Miles Morales. Now, we don't know if this is one of his clones, because you remember, if you're reading Miles right now, he is deeply vetted in the clone saga of his own. So we don't know if this is a clone. We don't know if Miles, this issue, this is the, I believe, 28 cover. This cover is the conclusion to the clone saga. So we don't know if the clone of his becomes Miles Morales, or not becomes Miles Morales, becomes Spider-Man or Captain America, or what's going to happen. All we know is that this is the homage cover for Captain America's anniversary as well. Solo, he says, tracksuits only fashionable in Russian miles. Hey, man, Slavs and tracksuits. Squatting, bro. That's what tracksuits are good for right there. But Captain America Miles Morales, it's kind of fitting that they gave him this costume. This is the original sketch here of it, and this is the finished product. I like it that it kind of pays to his Puerto Rican roots a little bit while sitting with Captain America. And he's got, his black costume here with the red, white, and blue and the shield. I think the cover's dope. Cover is fantastic. And it kind of pays homage to throwback here, Marvel Civil War 2, where we had preludes of Miles Morales killing the Hydra agent Captain America. So that's kind of cool that they are kind of hinting at that, but giving him the costume there in the red, white, and blue. Super stoked for that. Love this cover. You can still FOC it at your local comic shop. So if you want to get this cover when it comes out, I'm sure it's going to be a spicy meatball in the flipper world. Not that I know anything about that, but I'm sure it's going to be a hot cover to come after in the secondary market. So, Mrs. the Hun, my kid has a Russian gangster tracksuit. Nice. But yeah, so moving on, we're getting a new team writing on the Spider-Man comic. Nick Spencer is leaving The Amazing Spider-Man, and we're going to get a new team on that book. And with that new team comes the tease of the death of Peter Parker once again. All right. So, we're getting Kelly Thompson, Cody Ziegler, Patrick Gleason. They're all going to be the new team. Patrick Gleason, his art has exploded over the last couple months with his Spider-Man covers. He did all the webhead covers. The red, white, and blue, I believe. Yeah, red, white, and blue for the first, second, and third printings. He did a Venom one. He did the Carnage webhead cover for Carnage, Red, White, and Blood. He's going to be taking over a lot of the duties on The Amazing Spider-Man. And we got the first teaser coming out. They're taking over as of Spider-Man 5 in October. We got the first teaser of the death of Peter Parker. I don't know if do we need to see death of Peter Parker again? He's already been killed in the Ultimate Universe. He's been killed once here in taking over with Doc Ock. And they're going to try and wipe him out again. I don't know. But in doing so, they've also announced that the next series is going to be about Ben Reilly, almost confirming that they're killing Spider-Man. So once they finish the Miles clone saga, they're moving right into bringing back Peter Parker's clone and Ben Reilly. I like Ben Reilly. Dig the new suit. I'm interested to see what they do with it. I've been a big fan of Nick Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man run. I think he's done great work. I was hoping, which I'm sure many Spider-Man fans were, that once it was announced that Nick Spencer was leaving, Donny Cates, who was just writing Venom and Thor and Silver Surfer Black and just everything that's top of the charts right now, was going to take over writing Spider-Man and kind of launch him back into that stratosphere, putting him back on that top of the kingdom where he belongs. Because look, when you think Marvel Comics, it's synonymous with Spider-Man, just like DC is synonymous with Batman. You can say Superman, but let's be honest, it's Batman. Superman, no one cares about that Boy Scout. But and as much as I've loved Spencer's run, he didn't really do anything to re-solidify Spider-Man's place in the Marvel universe, and I think they need that big writer to go ahead and put him back on top. I don't think killing him off and replacing him with Ben Reilly is the way to do it. But who knows? We're gonna see. We got the Sinister Wars coming up. We've got the Chameleon stuff coming up in Spider-Man. So it's gonna be interesting to see what leads up to this changeover in creative teams and what leads to Peter Parker's death and Ben Reilly taking over the mantle in issue 75, and just kind of where everything is gonna go from here. But who knows? We got big news this week that Transformers is coming back with another live-action movie, and this time we're going to have Rise of the Beasts, and it is going to come from Beast Wars. And if you're looking at, so you're gonna have, it's gonna be set in the 90s, and I think if you're a fan of the Beast Wars cartoons, and I've seen it kind of all over the internet this week, and people are like, "Awesome, man, Beast Wars, fuck yeah, Beast Wars movie." You're not. I don't think you're gonna be as excited, man. I think you're gonna be a little upset. I think you need to go into this movie, tone down your expectations. Bumblebee was good. That was the last real good Transformers movie. Bumblebee was good, but they're only sprinkling in the Beast Wars characters. You got some characters from Beast Wars that are confirmed already. Not a lot of them have been confirmed. I think they're gonna be some that are going to surprise us. They're saying it's gonna be a combination of your Autobots, your Dinobots, your Decepticons. It's gonna be a mixture of all of them. All right, so if you're going in thinking, yeah, man, it's gonna be Beast Wars, it's not. They're gonna be sprinkled in. Let's see. Sola says, yeah. Oh, Smallville, a couple others, but Soups has been crap for years. Yeah, Soups is whack, yo. But so they have confirmed that Optimus Prime is going to be in it, sporting a new G1 look. Longtime Optimus Prime voice actor Peter Cullen will return. Bumblebee has a new off-road Camaro. Scourge is going to be in it. RC as a Ducati 916. Mirage is going to be in it as a blue and silver Porsche 911 Turbo. Nightbird as a Nissan Skyline. Air Razor is going to be in it. Rhinox is going to be in it. And Optimus Prime will be in it. They haven't announced Rat Trap yet. They haven't announced Cheetor. Like, you got to have Rat Trap and Cheetor in this, right? Like, those are two big fan favorites from the computer animated 90s Beast Wars cartoon. And they've got the Beast Wars comics line right now at IDW. So it's prime for Beast time, I guess. That's the worst thing I could ever say, prime for Beast time. But I'm super excited to see the Maximals and the Predacons and the Terracons in the big screen, but I just don't know how it's going to work and how they're going to bring him in. And I don't know unnecessarily. Like, don't you think it's going to be confusing? Because Optimus Primal is a descendant of Optimus Prime. So now you've got Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime in the same movie, and they're not going to be. They're saying that the Predacons and Maximals and all those are not going to be like these shiny, tuned up creatures. You're going to tell that they've been there for years. They're going to be rusted and a little bit broken down, and characters are going to be changed up, and so we'll see what happens with this. I know we got a 2022 release date for this movie. No Michael Bay. June 24th, 2022 release date. No Michael Bay. I'm super on board for that. But other than that, I'm just going to take a wait and see attitude. Solo's over here looking at 35-year-old dudes, man. What's going on, Solo? Is there something you need to tell the class, brother? This is the Hunt. Smallville was cool when I was in 10th grade. If you were into 35-year-old dudes playing high school freshmen. Solo, I wasn't looking at 35-year-old dudes. All right, bro. Your secret's safe with us. This is a safe place. This is a safe place, Solo. Tell us what you're really coming at, buddy. It's all right. We're all friends here, right, guys? So there's your Beast Wars. You got your Rhinox, Cheetor, Rat Trap, Optimus Primal, Dinobot. They all got to be in there, right? Let's be honest. They're all going to be in that shiznit. Harrison Ford injured while filming the new Indiana Jones movie. Look, dude's 78 years old. He gets injured preparing for a fight scene. He is practicing for a fight scene, training, working hard for your movie love. Dude throws out his shoulder. Come on. I know we've got some Indiana Jones faithful in the chat. Is it okay? Is it time? Look, I know we don't like reboots. We don't like recastings. But they've done it with James Bond. Feels like every 5 to 10 years, maybe less, James Bond gets rebooted. A new actor comes in to play James Bond. Can we give the man his due? Let Harrison Ford ride off into the sunset and just recast, reboot Indiana Jones? Is it that big a deal? Can you stand to watch an Indiana Jones movie without Harrison Ford? I can. I was ecstatic when they were talking about bringing in Chris Pratt or somebody else to play this character. The dude survived a plane crash. The dude broke his leg while filming his scenes for Star Wars. And now he gets hurt throwing out his shoulder, practicing for a fight scene in Indiana Jones. Dude, 78 years old, man. You got nothing left to prove. Harrison, it's time, bro. Relax. It's time for you to ride off into the sunset and just hand over the reins to Indy. It's okay. Mrs. Lund, Roger Moore was James Bond for 2 decades. There you go. I understand. But like I said, that we as a fandom, in this fandom, pick and choose like when it's okay. Bring back Max Bender, bring back Shia. You're out of here. I wish I could put you in timeout right now. Bring back Shia. Look, it's okay. We as a fandom pick and choose when it's okay to replace an actor. And I think it's time. If you want to either end Indy or if you want to continue Indy going, recast. It's all right. Really, what's left for a 78-year-old man to prove is Indiana Jones? He's got to put on his Ben Gay on his back. He's got the ice packs on the knees. All right? He can't quite, he's got to have like, I don't know, some robotic arm to crack his whip because he just can't quite crack it anymore. He gets crushed by a boulder because his hearing aids aren't turned up high enough where he just can't hear things coming at him anymore. It's time. It's time to put Indy to bed. And if you're not going to put Indy to bed, recast him. Recast Indiana Jones. Let this man ride off into the sunset. Because how many more plane crashes, Millennium Falcon doors, or stunt coordination, pre-stunt coordination can the man take? I'm not hating on Harrison Ford, but look, let's be honest. If you can't even throw a punch without ripping your rotator cuff or whatever it is he did to throw out his shoulder, it's time. It's time to go. I love you, Harrison. You were great while your time lasted. He is a good-looking dude for his age. I'm not debating that. I'm not debating whether he is good-looking for his age. I'm just saying. He's a treasure. He is every Star Wars fan's treasure. and you're gonna. He can't cheat death multiple times. This is time 3. How many more times can you do it? Was he got 9 lives like a cat? I don't think so. Mrs. Don said Dude Moore was like fucking grandpa in A View to a Kill. If you can pull off that, Harrison Ford can scoot around and whip and hanging from the walker. Yeah. Like, it's what it's going to be. Like, you're going to see him, like, pushing his walker up, and he's just going to whoosh and whip it and just hold on tight. Tennis balls flying off the ends of it. It's not age shaming. I love Harrison Ford. But at some point, you got to take movies that are a little bit more fit your age. You're not going to see Robert De Niro doing this anymore. You're not going to see, Denzel still does some stuff, but he's still a relatively young man. 78 years old. You don't see Clint Eastwood taking roles like this. Come on. It's time. It's all right, Harrison. You've done enough. We're good here. Video game news and / movies. If you're a fan of the video game Borderlands, they've wrapped the movie. You got Jack Black as Claptrap. So they released the image of Claptrap holding That's a Wrap Borderlands, the Eli Roth directed movie. So video game enthusiasts, get ready. Kevin Hart's coming to screw up Borderlands. Because, let's be honest, yikes. And also in other news, Steven Spielberg shuts down an attempt to reboot Jaws, saying that he would never do it. And I'm cool with that. So much, I can't even imagine him. Like, he probably gets approached to reboot Jaws, right? And the guy comes in and he's like, "All right, Steven, this is what we got for you, buddy." I got Corbin in the background here. Let me add Corbin. What's up, Corbin?
What is up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you? Oh, we got
before I came to the Indiana Jones hate, I was doing okay.
All right, let me add Ish.
I was doing okay.
We got Ish Devon and the Hun in the house too. What's up, fellas? Thanks for joining us.
Hey. Ish in the building.
But all right,
hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on, Ish? So we're talking Reboot and Jaws, and I was just to say, Steven Spielberg put the kibosh on that. I'm sure he was approached and was like, "Look, Steven, we got a great idea for you here. We want to reboot Jaws," and he just probably deadpan said and said, "Are you fucking serious?" He doesn't want to do that shit again. All that trouble with the first Jaws movie, and you want to try to reboot that and do it again? He's probably like, "Nah, get out of here." And let's be honest, the fact that the shark was dysfunctional in the first one made it so much better, and it put the suspense that film needed. I don't think you have that same suspense if the shark actually worked the way it was supposed to. But what do you think, Corbin? You want another Jaws remake?
Nah, I don't find them incredibly compelling, to be honest with you. Like, historically, I'm sure they had a cinematic presence, It's an institution among franchises, and that's great. But, like, I speak, again, from the reader's perspective, I like the book better. The movies are okay. I just don't know how. I mean, we've gotten so many shark movies in between that time that I guess you could make an argument that it's a classic and we're going to go back to the one that started it all. But, I mean, I don't really care. I don't really have much of an opinion on it. I'm kind of in the middle there. Like, if they bring it back, sure, I'll give it a watch, but it's not something I asked for.
What about you, Ish?
Yeah, definitely thumbs down on the idea. We don't need it. Just like Corbin said, how many shark movies have we had since? I mean, that's the one that set the standard. So you're never going to make a better version. That's like when they thought they could make a better version of Total Recall. It's like, well, where do they get these notions? But that movie and as far as the thriller, it's almost a perfect movie. And it's also lightning in a bottle. I don't think they could ever recapture what made that movie special, and it goes down in history as the first blockbuster film. So You know, and the first blockbuster film, and look at blockbusters now making gajillion dollars. It's
Right.
You can't revisit something like that.
Yeah. No.
So no.
Leave the classics alone. While you're here, go ahead.
I was actually going to say, can we go back to Indy for a second?
Let's do it. Go back to Indy.
That's Spielberg is not directing that, right?
No, he is not directing that film.
But I think the choice they picked, and because at first I was like, dude, if Spielberg's not doing it, you know, that's even more so reason to not go ahead. But they picked James Mangold, director of Logan, Wolverine, 310 to Yuma, a lot of different movies. He's actually done movies in several different genres, and he's always done a really outstanding job. But, you know, he's not a director of any particular note, but I think that gives promise that he might deliver a good film. But, you know, when the movie comes out in theaters, Harrison Ford's going to be 80 years old. Right. I mean, that's bonkers. It's like Hollywood has no self-awareness. Like even we were laughing about Roger Moore earlier. I mean, he was 62 when they made View to a Kill. That's still 20 years, almost 20 years younger than the new Indiana Jones. That's crazy.
That's kind of wild. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like I said, dude's 80 years old, and the last couple movies he's done in Star Wars, and he crashed a plane. He broke his leg when the Millennium Door fell on him in Star Wars, and now he throws out his shoulder prepping for a practice fight.
Well, I mean,
he's
not
just trying
surprised.
to get warmed up.
Yeah,
he's just trying to get warmed up, yo.
He's got to stretch.
It's crazy. You know, what was it like 3-4 years ago when they were really pushing the notion for to recast or reboot the series with Chris Pratt.
Yep, I'm down with that.
And I thought that was pretty. Yeah, I was like, all right, that could actually work. But it's like, has that ship sailed now, and we're still sticking with 80-year-old Indy?
Well, that was my whole thing. As I said, you know, we as a fandom pick and choose. It seems like when it's okay to recast somebody. Like, how many times has James Bond been recast? And we just keep on going. We just keep on trucking with James Bond. Like it didn't even happen. Why can't it be the same way with Indy? You know, if you want to keep more Indy movies, just recast Indy and keep it going.
You're saying recast but continue the continuity?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I always like the notion of the indie movies moving through time, right?
Yeah.
I do too. I think you have
even
to
Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls was a product of the 50s. It was like a 50s sci-fi cheesy B movie.
Mm-hmm.
So what would Indy be in the 60s? So it's almost like Spider-Man Life Story.
Right.
Dead.
That'd be amazing. Instead of being like,
that could be pretty cool.
You know, it's been 60 years or 30 years since Indy's last
But
adventure.
they should have already recast that. So now you're going to recast from an 80-year-old to a 30-year-old. It's going to be an awkward jump, but
yeah,
if they stick to it, maybe we'll forget that happened after a while. You know, people got over Sean Connery, and Roger Moore became everyone's favorite.
Right. And then Pierce Brosnan, and now Daniel Craig, and it just
Daniel Craig, sure. And in between there was Tim Dalton and George Lazenby.
And now they're talking about having a female 007. And it's just like, you know, it's cool. Like, if you wanted to keep going and you want the adventures to keep going, just recast them, and it's all right, and it's gonna be okay. That's kind of where I'm at with it. But I want to jump to real quick. We got our first set photos from the Flashpoint movie. Here we got Barry Allen Iris West. We've got Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, and our first look at the Supergirl outfit. What do you think of the Supergirl outfit, Corbin? Because I know you're a big fan of these DC CW shows.
It's cool. It's unique. It takes a little bit of inspiration from obviously the movies in that universe, I'd imagine. Particularly Man of Steel with the emblem. I don't know. It's kind of early, just for one shot. You know, I'm sure we don't have the cape yet and everything, so it's different. It's a unique take, considering, like you said, the way that the CW Supergirl and stuff are. It's a Flashpoint universe, so I'm sure it's a different interpretation of that character. I wouldn't be surprised if there is another version of her, or that's like one outfit of hers in the movie, wearing the Superman or Supergirl colors. So it's cool. It just seems like too early to tell from it, but I like the way it looks to begin with. It almost has a
Is there going to be a cape?
Jonathan, it has like there will. I'm sure that this is like the
CGI cape.
Exactly. And I feel like it has a Jonathan Kent type of costume design feel to it.
I'm a little scared by the abs. I've never seen abs look so pointy like that.
I feel like that's something that's going to be edited a little bit more into as well. But yeah, you're right. As far as the bodysuit, it's definitely configured a certain way for sure.
Solo
Unique.
Wookie
A
says
little awkward.
Roger Moore is his favorite Bond. There you go.
Yeah, y'all lost me with that
It is.
James Bond stuff.
It was a little awkward.
I can't see the comments. I don't know why.
It gets a little
So I can't respond.
little bit more Spider-Man vibes to me with the red and blue.
Who is the actress playing Supergirl?
Can't remember her name.
Forgot.
And are we okay with? Should we even care that she's not a blonde, long hair blonde?
Let me get.
Well, again, it's a Flashpoint movie, so I feel like it could be a different.
So it's gonna be. It's
Callie.
got to be different. Okay.
Sasha Callie's her name. Yeah.
Yeah, Sasha Kelly. Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like it's a different version of her or something. You know what I mean? Like this might not be the final form. You know,
Yeah.
it's unique though. It's cool. I think the colors are neat.
Let's go ahead and transition here to get into my top 5 comic books that released this week. We can get you guys' opinions on them, then we can get Ish to give us a little bit of rundown about what's coming out next week, and then we'll talk a little bit about Batman Reptilian because I'm interested to hear. I wanted to hear what Ish had to say about it, but what Chad in the chat had a specific request. He hit me up on Twitter and he's like, "Look, this book is awesome. If you're gonna review it, I need Corbin here. I need to hear what Corbin has to say about it." So
Respect to Solo. I miss you, buddy.
Specific.
Solo, my brand.
No, it was a different Chad. It wasn't Solo.
What's up, Chad?
It's a
It
different
wasn't
Chad.
Solo?
Nope, it's a different.
Oh,
Chad.
another sad.
Yeah.
To a different Chad, whoever you are, I thank you.
He wants to hear Corbin.
I appreciate you, sir. Wherever you are, Chad. All right.
So
Solo, you're still cool. Still miss you.
Let's get into it. My top 5 books this week. At number 5, we have Ninja Turtles 118, written by Sophie Campbell. The Shredder returns. Oroku Saki has been to hell and back.
Wait, it's not Eastman.
Nope, Eastman did. Oh, Eastman just did the B cover for it.
No, okay.
So-
I thought he was writing that series.
Nope. The Shredder returns. Oroku Saki has been to hell and back, but will he now come to the Turtles a friend or foe? Meanwhile, April makes a stand against Baxter Stockman with dangerous consequences. Look, this series needs to pick up. I'm doing the top 5 books that I pick up of what I read this week, and this series was my least favorite. I love the Turtles books, but it needs to pick up. It seems like after they killed off Splinter and killed off Shredder, this series kind of took a downturn in all of the depression that they're bringing to it of them dealing with the loss of Splinter. And now you've got this new like time hopping Shredder. It's kind of all over the place. So the series needs to get it together. Number 4 for me, Something's Killing the Children 17, written by James Tynion. What turns young Erica into the monster hunter she is today? Discover Erica Slaughter's true origin as she is further initiated into the House of Slaughter. But will she be sorted into the prestige white room or dreaded black room with her new nemesis, Aaron? This has been a great series. I've heard about this series. I've been picking it up but haven't been reading it. I actually started reading it at 16, so I have to go back. But I think that from the 2 issues I've read, this is a phenomenal series. Like, it's one of those things where you hear everybody talking about it, so I've been picking it up. But I'm like, the hype is so like there on this book that you're almost like, I don't even want to read it just because it's so hyped up. Are you reading this, Ish?
Actually, I'm not. We did just get the first 3 volumes of the trade paperback. So it is officially, well, okay, Christine, my wife, got them. So it's officially in the queue to be read.
There you go. Well, you have to let us know what you think of it. But I'm, like I said, after 16 and 17, because I kind of jumped on at this flashback story point, I'm loving it, and I got to go back and catch up. Number 3 for me this week was Robin number 3, written by Joshua Williams. It's a beach party from hell. Robin's mission to get the heart of the League of Lazarus' inner workings has left him once again locked in a combat with his fellow fighters, but never did Damian Wayne think it would lead to a beach blanket cookout. What's more dangerous than a life or death struggle of all or nothing prize of immortality? Well, for Damian, it's acting like a normal teenager for 5 minutes, and don't miss the surprise confrontation with Damian's number 1 competition, a mysterious fighter trained by the League of Assassins. It's Connor Hawke. Spoiler, it's Connor Hawke. And they reestablished Connor Hawke as being the son of Oliver Queen in this. So,
Well, spoiler, it says on the cover, Connor Hawk.
yeah. But the big spoiler is that they reestablished him as the son of Green Arrow in this series. So, I'm loving. Are you reading this, Corbin?
I am not. I'm trying to get back into the, let's just say, Bat family books, Robin, specifically, Nightwing as well. But like, I have not been into those so far. That's interesting. I don't know. Robin doesn't grip me. I'm more interested in Nightwing, to be honest with you.
What about you? Is she reading it?
I am not.
No. Good book, man. It's first 3 issues. It's a fun book. I like Damian.
It has a good rap.
Yeah, he's probably one of my favorite Robins. I like.
Okay.
I honestly think personally between the detective, Nightwing, and Robin are the top 3 titles coming out of DC right now. I kind of feel like Batman's fallen off a little bit, but I think that
Whoa! Why would you think that?
the current Tinian run of Batman is definitely falling flat for me. So
I have to at least push back. It's just kind of in my contract.
Hey man, I understand as the go-to DC guy. That's why we brought you here. But I just say, like,
I'm with you actually.
I feel like Detective is good Batman writing right now. Robin and Nightwing are the go-to DC books right now for me.
Of course,
Tom King's Batman, Catwoman.
Yeah, well,
Oh, I said Tom King and
yeah, he had to leave. Number 2 for me this week was Vinyl. Number 1, written by Doug Wagner, artist and cover art by David Stewart. When Walter's best friend, the FBI agent charged with his capture, is kidnapped by a death cult of all-female sunflower farmers, Walter finds himself deep within an underground labyrinth filled with secrets and monsters, but are all the monsters more horrific than his? If you like the book Plastic, this is written by the same guy that did the series Plastic. It is brutal. It is violent. It is compelling. If you're into horror stuff and you liked Plastic, I would say definitely check out Vinyl. Issue number 1. It was definitely worth the read for me this week. I picked it up on a whim. It's so good. Yes, Chad, you need to get into Nightwing, especially the current run of Nightwing. It's been so good. But Vinyl number 1 is number 2 for me this week. And then number 1, we got Stray Dogs number 5, written by Tony Fleece, art by Trish Fosner. Time's up. No more sniffing around. No more barking. No more hiding. The dogs have been let out of the house. But standing between them and freedom is their best friend and their worst nightmare. Big takeaway is this is the final issue. I love this series. If you're a dog fan, this series has been fantastic. Are you on MCM tomorrow night ish?
I believe so. Yes.
So
and
you guys are gonna
Tony Fleece will be
yeah,
on.
talking to Tony and Trish tomorrow night. So guys, definitely check out Modern Common Mayhem over there on Tales from the Flip Side tomorrow night, talking about Stray Dogs with Tony. That's always a good time. I know Marco and Kyle love talking to Tony, so you guys should have a great time with that. But that's my top 5 books of this week that if you're into comics or just getting into comics or looking for something to read, why not check out my list? I'm trying not to steer you wrong, but it is books I pick up every week, and I give you the best of the best out of that. So if you have any recommendations for books that aren't on my list that I'm not reading, hit me up at the Absolute Geek Twitter. Send me a message. Let me know what I should be reading that I'm not paying attention to, and I will definitely credit you with that and check it out. But all right, let's get into it. Let's get into what the people came to see. Batman Reptilian review. You wanna kick us off, Corbin?
Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna lie. It took me 2 readings of this book. I expected something different. Just setting the stage. Garth Ennis, Liam Sharp. They're the creative team for the book. In fact, Liam Sharp actually said that it was actually supposed to be a project between Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon, which I thought was kind of neat. And he's just trying to, take it in the best way that he can. And it's really the first part of setting the stage of a story. Batman finds out that some of his rogues gallery have just been brutally mutilated by, it's kind of in the cover, although it's not actually mentioned in this first book, by an unknown assailant. So we'll just go with that. And Batman's investigating that. That's kind of the synopsis of the book. But what's really in depth for me is Garth Ennis' take on Batman. I expect it to be different. We've seen how he takes this almost whimsical type of tongue-in-cheek approaches to other heroes in the past. So if you've read any of Punisher, Preacher, other stuff that he's done, you kind of know that's with Garth Ennis. But reading that with Batman for me was weird because I wasn't quite putting his version of Batman with what I know Batman to be. And it was jarring, I'm not going to lie. But reading it the second time, really taking it in where he was going with Batman, especially his approach with different low-level criminals. There's a scene where there's a person who has violated women, who is getting off, and Batman confronts him and kind of goads him into taking a swing at him so that he can then put him down hard. And the way that he does that, it's so not Batman, it's so Garth Ennis, but it really works for this Batman. He's a little bit of a snide jerk. Sharp's artwork is just that. It's sharp. It reminds me of the artwork from Arkham Asylum. That book back in 1980. I'm forgetting a horrible place on earth. I got to get the name of the book right. You think I would have had that coming in. But it has a lot of the backdrop of Gotham, especially with the contrast of colors. If you look at, scenes where Batman isn't present, especially in the beginning of the book, and then how it becomes, sharp red and really focuses with the dark on these characters. It's a bit of it's a book that upon a second reading, I went from, I don't know if I like that, to not only do I like it, but I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. Even though, like I said, by the cover, we kind of already have, if you have an inkling of Batman's Rose Gallery, you kind of know at the end who this is. And this is only book one of that. But it's giving a lot more of something to look forward to. So I'm going to give it definitely a lot more stars than I did when me and Matt first talked about this book. For me, out of 5, I would probably say 4 or 4.5. Like, it's a solid book. I'm actually excited to see where this goes. It's a different take on Batman than, like Matt said, what we've been reading from James Tynion already. It's a different take from, of course, the comics so far, but it's kind of a refreshing take as well.
What do you think, Ish?
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. I'd give it a solid 4 stars. It's funny, a lot of people, I guess just based on the title and the cover, have told me that they assume there's some sort of Batman actually transforms into a reptile or something like that.
Oh, for real?
None of that is definitely, after reading the comic, that's not the case. That's not what this book is about.
Nah.
But
the cover,
it's written by Garth Ennis. If I didn't know who the writer was, I would have been like, is this Brian Azzarello? Because that's kind of that feel too.
Good style,
to it. The art is very striking, and and it's not the first time we've seen this type of very heavy artsy art in a Batman book. So, that's something nice to have once in a while. It's also not an Elseworlds book. It's not in the continuity, but it's just looks like it's just a Batman story, just by Garth Ennis. And I did want to point out, when you mentioned that scene with the guy, he goads the guy into taking the swing at him.
Yeah.
The artwork, then there's this panel at the bottom, and you never really see what happened to that guy. I guess you assume he fell down the stairs, because of the next panel, Batman's like, his wife has to wheel him around in a wheelchair. I'm like, wait, whoa, that guy's now paraplegic? And they showed none of it. So it's very interesting. So as creative as the art is, it also forces you to fill in some gaps with your own imagination.
I love that you pointed that out, because exactly, this art was more like telling and not showing, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like sparse by any stretch of imagination. Almost. Exactly. When they describe the injuries that the Riddler in particular suffered, he was split from stomach to private area. Exactly. We don't actually see that.
Smile, yeah.
Exactly. We don't actually see that. And you do see, I love seeing kind of where the Riddler's in pain. It kind of just blurs out where, the presumed injury is, of course. But you see, Scarecrow and
the still had the impact.
And exactly. And it's like, that alone puts more of an image in my head than if you had tried to do it justice by illustrating that. As good as the artwork is, that power of suggestion, like you said, really makes it become even more of its own in a book that, like I said, upon a second reading, it just opened up things that I kind of glossed over. I agree, especially the way they describe it. You're right.
There's a couple panels that are just black panels, just one after another. But then you get something, then you get another panel, and you're like, all right,
And for $4.99, like, this is a beautiful book.
Yes, and here's where I get the hate is I really didn't like it.
I'll
Okay.
go for the cover.
it was
Yeah, that's a good question.
look, it was a hard read for me. I probably read it 4 times. All right, like Stumbling Jedi, aka Chad, was like, have you read this book? You got to check it out. Go pick it up. And I was like, all right, cool. I went and picked it up because I passed on it on Wednesday when I was in the shop. I passed on it, and I went back yesterday and picked it up, and it was a hard read. Like I said, 4 times, and I'm like, I don't get what this is like. I don't get what this is going. Like, I think I'm gonna keep reading, and a couple more issues into it, I'll get into it. But the art was phenomenal, but it also was, I think, the Achilles heel to this that took me out of it a little bit, because you get amazing stuff from it. Let me see if I can get this up here, because I have pulled some panels, but it just doesn't want to work.
Can I point out that the 1/25 by Bill Sienkiewicz was amazing?
Let's see, get this up here.
I don't know if you can pull that cover up, but that's worth checking out.
Yeah, I can try. Here we go. So, I mean, you got panels like this, where, like, this Alfred looks lifelike. Like, the art is beautiful. Like, here's what Corbin was talking about with Riddler being split in 2 and Scarecrow and, like, all this cool. Like, you get this beautiful art. Like, I think this is an amazingly drawn Batman right here. But then you get stuff like this. Like, I see what you're saying. The over-the-top, big-nosed Joker, or, like, the
almost grotesque.
Gigantic nose penguin, almost. Yeah, I feel like you have such beautiful art in part of this book, and then you just, it changes to this. You're kind of like, what happened? Did they change artists mid-story? Like, what's going on with this? Like,
Can I comment on that panel?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I feel like, because the part when we get to that plot point, right, with spoiler alert, Scarecrow's obviously unleashed something on all the villains, and then there's a moment where they say all the villains suddenly turn on each other, and I think this is what they're seeing. This is how they're seeing each other, and this really, like you said, extremely grotesque, exaggerated, and that's part of the impetus of why they ended up all savagely killing each other. I think it even says like the penguin was like nailed to the ceiling of the room, and
yeah. I even want to.
So I feel like they're under the Scarecrow's whatever it is he came up with, spell, poison, venom. We don't know yet, and then this is how they see each other.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was going to even say even further than that when you were describing that this is Scarecrow's influence on them in terms of how they put each other. But remember, this is also the recollection of a crook that Batman's interrogating. So maybe it's his own interpretation of what he's seeing after being exposed to it as well.
See, and that's why you two are two of the best in the business, because I didn't see it like that. I didn't take it as, maybe you're seeing it through the eyes of like the way they saw it after the fear toxin has taken over, or whatever the Scarecrow has done. That's how they see each other. Now, I didn't take it as like that. Like, it honestly kind of pulled me out of the book a little bit. I was like, why? What's up with the change? Like, it's beautiful art to this craziness, and I actually like the way
there actually was a page I thought you were going to show.
Oh, which one?
Because it has the Joker in it. I guess if you showed it, I could. So I thought that would be okay. This one might get disputed.
Let's see. Is it this one?
No, that's the one we were just talking about. Yeah, this one here. Joker's face in that is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I like how he's got green chest hair.
Almost like Cracked magazine or Mad magazine, like exaggerated.
Yeah.
Also, what did Two-Face do to his hair? I get the one side looking a little wild.
But the Harvey Dent in the background, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little wild. Like, it's a little on the wild side, even for Two-Face.
That's a pretty tame. That's a tame Two-Face compared to Joker, though.
Oh yeah,
I love the way he drew Clayface's mouth, his jaw.
Just slightly, yeah. No, that's true.
Little displaced, dangly jaw, beautiful.
But I love.
And honestly, it was funny that this. I'm sorry, Matt.
No, I was gonna say I love the way they let some of the art go in this too. Like, where there's times where like Batman just looks massively tall, like he's like 9 foot tall and like towering over this dude. And I love the way they took liberties with that and just to like change that. But I was just like, man, like you look at this panel, like Poison Ivy looks amazing.
Look at her, yeah.
Yeah, Man-Bat looks amazing, and Killer Croc looks awesome.
But then Joker is
Phantasm.
like, he really stands out.
Yeah, and you got Clayface and even Harvey. Like, I love that Harvey Dent. I love that Two-Face. And then you got the Scarecrow, but then Joker is just like, what is going on? Like, he's got buck teeth and.
Yeah, this is the one image in the book, this Joker face, where I was like, okay, huh.
A little wild there. Get you on that.
Getting the massive like body of like looking like the Kingpin from Into the Spider-Verse or something like.
The coat wire, the hanger, chest.
Yes.
Stretched out, yeah. But this was a solid start. I'm all in all, I'm glad I read it twice because reading it when we first talked early in the morning, I was like, I don't know how I felt about it. But then looking back and really like watching the panels, it was like a difference between speed reading and actually like taking in the art.
Yeah,
it's definitely a setup issue.
Yes,
which sometimes is a weakness of a book, but for here I was like, all right, I had no problem with that. I'm curious for the next one.
Yeah, and Gotham, I love the way he rendered it. Like it looks. There's shadowy, dark areas. It looks lived in, but the contrast of colors from page to page, from venue to venue where he's at, it pops in a different way. And the backdrops too, especially that scene that you're on right now. Looking even beyond Batman and the Crook, just the backdrop of Gotham in the rain. It's exactly
dense urbanization.
Yep, exactly. I love it.
I love this panel right here. Just this, I think that Batman is so well drawn.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's a beautifully drawn panel. Like that, I just think that little bit of Joker and Penguin took me out of it because I was like, man, this is a beautiful book, and then that Joker and Penguin took me out. I'm like, what is this? But I'm gonna have to go back and reread it with that mindset of maybe you're looking at it through someone who's been infected by fear toxin or how they see each other or that different perspective, because it's definitely perspective I didn't have before. Like, look at like Batman like towering over this dude.
Yeah.
What I really liked about the book and Garth Ennis is his diction, his use of language. There was one dialogue in particular towards the beginning where it's like, wow, Batman hasn't used like sophisticated words like that in a while. Mm-hmm. And I felt it was almost like if I use the word sophisticated, more sophisticated than Tinian's version of Batman. And, that's Garth Ennis, though.
Mm-hmm.
That guy really knows how to choose words and use them.
Like, yeah, some of the stuff for the next issue. And
yeah, these are wild panels. Yeah, look at that Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Then you get some of the covers for it.
Like, and even when the cover kind of tells, you know what I mean?
Like, I think that's a cool cover.
This cover, oh my god!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that one.
When I first got it, I had it upside down, and upside down, you see how the hands are choking Batman. It's like,
you're making
wow.
me do it right now. But then if you look at like the last page, or the penultimate page, I think, well, the one before that, the one with Batman with the eyes with the reptilian, I could see where that fan theory of him being, wow, it is a nice image. Wow, yeah, it's well done when you look at it like that.
Right.
That's dope.
Like, why can't we get that Joker back there? Like, why do we have to get the big nose? Just that Penguin, or just like the overly big nosed, like.
Well, I guess that's more classic art. I mean, with the exception of Batman of the Rogues Gallery, we didn't really get. I mean, all the interpretations of Crooks in this were different.
Yeah.
It was definitely. I'm trying to remember who did that. Now I have to do the research live, which makes me look bad. Let me check that out.
But yeah, that is a beautiful cover, though.
A Serious House on Serious Earth. Who did the artwork for that? Oh, Dave McKean. That's what it is. It's a lot of his influence in there.
So.
And that type of weird kind of at least in the early parts. I feel the most grotesque parts have that.
Yeah, I think, but I mean, I'm interested to hear you guys give it such high reviews. I was kind of like, I got to see where this goes because I'm not sold on this book yet.
This is also a Batman, and they reiterate it several times in the book. This is a Batman that does not kill.
Right. And I thought that was
But he also says with a little bit of deliciousness, he's like,
yeah.
I don't want to kill you because I want to see you suffer for the rest of your life.
Don't forget, I value human life. Like,
Yeah.
just being that guy. Pop up where he lives. Don't worry, I'm not gonna kill you though. Like,
Solo
yeah, you're
says,
right.
I don't want to give any away secrets, but you've never seen me and Batman in the same room at the same time. Think about it. Just
Oh
saying.
boy.
Oh wow. I mean, I've also never seen Batman not clean shaven outside of Batman Venom and some other narrations. So you're right. So I mean, you could very well be the Bat. I'm just kidding. I'm
I
sorry.
don't. No,
But yeah, interesting. I'm intrigued to see where this goes.
don't get him
Good starting
started.
point.
It was. But, all right. So, to end the show, Ish, I'm going to turn it over to you. What comes out next week that everyone should be on the lookout for in their
Okay.
shows?
Books I think are pretty cool books next week. Definitely worth checking out. First one would be Avengers Mech Strike. I feel that's kind of a book that's been flying under the radar, but it's a very cool. They're at issue number 4. It's a 5-issue series. And it's one that's actually worth maybe specking on the entire series, because one day, if they ever do this in the movies, Avengers wearing these mech suits, their first appearance, and the villains include Thanos, Kang, so there's big players in here. So it's Avengers Mech Strike is worth checking out. The other one's the Black Cat Annual, so they're starting this Infinite Destinies kind of crossover miniseries. And if you're interested in that, then the Black Cat Annual is kind of I believe, a centerpiece to that whole crossover. And she's supposedly going to do some wild things. And spoiler alert, involves Black Cat and the Infinity Stones. Next will be Black Widow number 8. I feel this was nominated Eisner Award nominee for Best New Series, and it's been a hot book and it get high praise. Kelly Thompson, the artwork's really good, and it seems like a pretty fast-paced, interesting thriller. The other one is Crossover number 7 by Donnie Cates. I don't know if Crossover's losing
that one
steam
actually,
or not.
That one's actually Chip Zdarsky, isn't it? Because I think
Is it Zdarsky instead of Cates?
Yeah, Zdarsky's taking over on issue 7.
Oh, I did not know that. That gives it a bump in my book. I'm a big Zdarsky fan, so if people have felt that Crossover was cooling off, injecting Zdarsky into it might breathe a whole brand new life into this. Next up would be Daredevil number 3, also a multi-Eisner Award nominee. This probably a lot of Marvel fans feel this is the one book, again, Chip Zdarsky, this is the one book that's just been killing it. 31 issues in now. Next up would be Department of Truth number 10. We all know that's a super hot book. After that, this kind of maybe my more personal bias, but Dune, House of Atreides, number 8. I don't know if you guys are Dune fans, and I've been checking out those books.
Yeah.
Well, there's the original
book,
novel,
right? Yeah, that's what I know.
Okay, well, there's been a series now by Boom Studios, which is a prequel to the book, House of Atreides. Oh, wow. And, obviously they're doing this because the new movie's coming out later this year, which was supposed to have come out last year. And, and I'm super looking forward to that movie. And so it's kind of cool to have this prequel series, and number 8 is coming out. Next up, if you're a Spider-Man fan, then you cannot miss the giant size Amazing Spider-Man Chameleon Conspiracy. So if you've been, reading Spider-Man at all, then you know that this is going to be a big issue, in the current story arc. So Spider-Man fans, do not miss Chameleon Conspiracy. And then we have a new number 1, and this is from Cullen Bunn and Andrea Moody. It's called Parasomnia. A horror book where a father, I guess, has to kind of cross over to the dark side to find his son. It involves a cult. And, Cullen Bunn, very, this guy's got a great reputation, and especially in the horror genre. And Andrea Moody, has been killing it on books like, was it Bunny Mask? What was the Maniac of New York, I believe.
Yep.
So this is definitely a number 1 worth checking out, especially if you're into horror. So Parasomnia. The next up is something I'm really looking forward to, Red Room number 2 by Ed Piskor. I'm a huge Ed Piskor fan. Red Room number 1 might be one of the most messed up comic books I've ever read.
Yes, it is.
But it was brilliant. It was brilliant and beautiful and horrific and disgusting and just all sorts of superlatives. It's sit on the front cover, banned in 5 countries for number 2 now. He's upped his game. He's banned in 8 countries now. So you got to love Ed Piskor. Shout out to his channel too, Cartoonist Kayfabe. Up next, Spawn, number 319. Now, the one reason why this is, I mean, obviously, if you read Spawn, then you're just going to get the next issue. You're not going to miss it. But if you're thinking of getting into Spawn, just this week came out the new Spawn Universe, number 1. I don't know if you guys checked that out.
I did. I picked up one of the Capullo covers.
Okay.
Not Capullo.
So, I mean,
Campbell.
this is
J. Scott Campbell covers. Sorry.
Okay, the J. Scott Campbell cover.
Mm-hmm.
And so this has kind of been building. There's been a lot of hype the last couple months, obviously, that McFarlane's taking Spawn to the next level, and they're blowing it wide with the whole Spawn universe, characters, spin-offs, team-ups. They're really going all out. So if you're interested in jumping on the train with that, then of course, you got to get regular Spawn 2, 319. So then next up is one book, The Marvels. I don't know if you guys read number 1 and 2. It's Marvels number 3 comes out. An interesting book, kind of, I guess we can call it an Elseworlds Marvel tale. And that's got some good stuff that's worth checking out. And then my last pick is also kind of a personal pick, Two Moons, number 5. Two Moons is a really good series. It takes place during the American Civil War, but it's a mix of horror and, I don't know, Carlos Castaneda. There's a lot of like psychedelia, so to speak, in that. Two Moons is a very, very cool book, worth checking out. So those are my picks for next week.
Awesome. All good stuff, man. Can't wait. Big week next week. But all right, well, as we end it tonight, I want to thank Corbin and Ishtavan for stopping by to talk a little bit Batman Reptilian.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, you guys are gonna see more of Ish. We're gonna do some good things together. So we're gonna get Ish on here some more. And as always, Corbin always got an open invite. But
appreciate you.
So are you both gonna be on MCM tomorrow night? You're gonna be there too.
Yeah,
Corbin?
best of my knowledge. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys
I
want
say
more,
I say like I didn't know.
if you guys want more Corbin and Ish, check them out tomorrow night on Modern Comic Mayhem, along with Kyle and Marco, all the crew over there. It's always a good time on Saturday nights. If you got nothing better to do and you want to listen to some comic talk and play the drinking game and just have a good time, go check them out there. Check out the interview with Tony Fleece about the final issue of Stray Dogs. Yeah, here I'm sure Corbin will be talking more about
nice shirt
over there. Fantastic
Appreciate it, man.
shirt.
Thank
Good
you.
shirt, Corbin. Good
Thank
shirt.
you.
But yeah,
Hey, real quick.
Go ahead.
Of that shirt, we were just placing the initial orders at the shop today, and we
Ooh,
finally got to Batman 89.
89,
I'm really excited
yes.
for it. And
Yes.
Superman 78 too. Both those
Yes,
series.
sir.
I'm really excited for that.
Ish,
We're
you
gonna
know I
get
can't wait to
Billy D. Williams as Two-Face.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Very excited where this goes.
But yeah, if you guys are liked any of the books you saw on the show tonight or want to pick any of them up, go give Ish a visit at Fantastic World Comics in Scottsdale, Arizona. He'll hook you up with any of the books you've seen on tonight's show or anything that's coming out next week. He'll get you taken care of. And guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me and giving me your opinions on Batman Reptilian. And that's gonna do it for this week, guys. And we'll see you next time.
Peace out.
Shout out Stumbling Jedi.
Prosper.
Yes, Stumbling Jedi, the guy that wants to know what Corbin has to say about that.